Hi there, Becky here, my first attempt at this videoing thing, so bear with my nerves. In the beginning you've seen a picture, and in that picture it is a smaller, very small rendition of the Mayan calendar. It was gifted to me back in 1988 when we were traveling with a couple in Mexico. Unfortunately, her mother-in-law got the English version and we got the Spanish version, and I don't speak Spanish or read it. So it's just been a mystery and a piece of art in my home for all these years. Now, I know that there's a lot of fear-mongering going on about the Mayan calendar ending on Friday. And it doesn't necessarily mean that. Quite a few years ago, I started my spiritual journey, and I would do a practice of expanding my consciousness to the room, then the house, then the city, then my province, and then out. Well, Canada and then the world. And when I went out, I would pop up into blackness, and I could see different lights, like a flashlight shining into a darkness. And some light beings would come to me, and they were non-gendered, and I asked their name, and they said they didn't have one, so I called them light beings. And over the years in my practice, because that was back in 82, 81, it's changed. It's changed a lot. And I don't normally talk about this because people just can't seem to handle it. So it's just time now. Anyway, also back in the day, there was a thing, and still is, called greenwing in Peterborough. And for that, they stock the canal with trout, and the children are allowed to fish for the weekend, most prizes being given out on Saturday. That, I think it's well over 25 years now. But back then, I took my son, who was only young, and he was fishing it. And when I looked around, it was all moms and their kids. And then as the years went by, I'd say 15, 18 years ago, then there were very few moms, and it was all dads. And dads were hugging and cuddling and kissing their boys and girls, and it was just different, very different. And it's just continued on since then. Back in the day, dogs were left at home. They were in dog pens outside, chained or whatever. And only the very few odd, strange people would take their dogs with them wherever they went. But that too changed. And now you can barely see a trucker or a car or a worker or whatever without a dog in it. So it has been changing. It's not just the end in 2012. It's been progressively changing. The connectedness, the awareness of the importance of the relationships between women and men and children. And dads have a far more hands-on approach. And when I pop up to that place, a few years ago now, there wasn't any more blackness. It was all light. And there weren't any more light beings. And the awareness has just slowly and steadily spread, which is a wonderful thing. Will there be changes from the Earth events? Probably. The sad thing that I've been made aware of is that the scientists, in their wisdom, in their search for antimatter, are going to also conduct an experiment, knowing the energy created by the alignments of the planets. That experiment is the part that will play a different variable. The ability to blast, and they've got these big, huge machines pointed right at Mexico. And Mexico's got the youngest landmass in the world. So it's more vulnerable and fragile. Thankfully, though, the Mayans have been working at activating all of the different pyramids to anchor some of the energy and not have such an impact on the Earth. So because people are more aware, and there's a thing called collective consciousness, the thought's out there, and people are aware. And so those that are awake and are in tune will also work as a pyramid to anchor that energy so that the earth event is not as disruptive as it could otherwise be without interventions. So yes, things are going to change. Collectively, consciously, we've changed, and that's a good thing. And it will just continue to be. So when the energy starts coming and you begin to be more aware, you feel more intuitively, you know what's about to happen, or you know what somebody's going to say, or you know who's going to phone. It's all part of it, because there's enough people. And the other thing is, on November 11 at 11 o'clock, everybody around the world gives 2 minutes of silence. Those people that know also give the intention collectively and strongly, and for longer than 2 minutes, that the planet be united and there be peace and evolution, spiritual evolution on the planet. And that's been going on now for, probably 2000. I think it was only a minute at one point. But after 9/11 in the States, it really got big. And that's a good thing too. So there are enough anchors out there, not just the Buddhas, not just the Mayans, not just, the other people. There's enough in the world now that took the cloak away and consciousness raised. So we're going to be in for a ride, and we have to understand that the people that are where they're at have chosen to be where they're at. Maybe not consciously, but subconsciously or within their contract. And contracts for another discussion. So that's my take on this whole event. So don't be afraid. It's going to happen, and it will be a change for the better in our world, because now it becomes fourth dimension, no longer three. Okay, thanks.